You are welcome to Fhobs Solutions. In this section, I am going to be talking about PTE speaking and writing session. You will remember that the speaking and writing session is actually the first session for the 3 sections PTE academic test. Okay, and remember again that the PTE test assesses your proficiency in English language, and it will do that under the speaking, the listening, the reading, and the writing test. But however, the speaking and the writing, they are actually grouped together, and it is the first session. So it is between 77 to 93 minutes. Within this section of the PTE test, you'll be asked various questions, and then you should be able to respond. Ahead of time, I like to say very quickly that PTE test is actually one of the tests that you can actually easily pass. So it's not a very difficult test, right? Now, for you to do well in the speaking and writing session, you need to understand the task, what is expected of you, and also understand the skill, the particular skill that is being tested. Your understanding of the particular skill that is being tested will help you to prepare accordingly for this particular skill. So the first section is read aloud. Just as the word suggests, or the phrase suggests, you are going to be reading. So you'll be given a short sentence, and then you will have to read it out. What are the skills that are being tested in the read aloud section? It is the reading and speaking skill. So your ability to read accurately and to speak what you must have read is what is being tested. So in the speaking section of the read aloud, ensure you are audible and clear. You speak up. The examiner should hear you, and you should try to be clear. Okay? Ensure you pronounce appropriately and correctly the words that made up the sentences. You don't really need to bother as to the length of the sentence. Is actually going to be short because you are expected to read it within the shortest possible time. So text will be displayed in this read aloud section, and then you have to read it. The second section is the repeat sentence section. In the repeat sentence, your listening skill and speaking skill will be tested, because a sentence will be read and you are going to repeat the sentence. Now, take note that you are not to paraphrase the sentence. You are not going to do something like he said. You are just going to say it exactly as it is. If the sentence says, this is a man, if it's your time to speak, you are simply going to say, this is a man. You are going to repeat the exact words that was used in the sentence. You are not explaining it. You are not paraphrasing it. You are simply saying it. So again, for the repeat sentence, your listening and speaking skills will be assessed. Your ability to listen and hear correctly and repeat what you must have heard. The third section is the describe an image. The skill that is being tested here is the speaking skill. An image will be displayed on the screen. Remember, it's computer adaptive anyway, it's purely computer based. So an image will be displayed on the screen, and you are to explain, you are to describe the image, right? So it is reporting, it is visual, it is what you can see that you quickly talked about. Now, when you are describing an image, please focus on the main features. That is the things you can see easily, quickly, and very fast, because you have very limited time to do your reporting. So again, for the describe an image, the speaking skill is assessed. The fourth section of the speaking and writing, within this time frame, you are actually still within the speaking aspect. You've not entered the writing section. So there's what is called the retell lecture. Retell lecture. In this section, your listening and speaking skill will be assessed. Now, but what happened here, just as this word retell suggests, you are going to be retelling. What is important here is your ability to use your own words, okay, to repeat what was said. So this time around, you are not going to use the exact words of the professor entirely, you are going to say what the lecture was about. So what are the things you need to pay attention to in the retail lecture? Pay attention to what is the lecture about, the subject of the lecture, and then what are the points that are raised and discussed. And so your response is going to be something like, the lecture was about XYZ, okay? And XYZ, were mentioned. So you are actually retelling what was being said, all right? Yeah, the next task in the speaking and writing section is called answer short question. So here you are going to be asked a direct question. So it's similar to what happened normally when something is written down. A question is written down, you read it and answer the question. But this time around, the question is going to be asked. It's going to be, you listen to it. Now, you may be asked to respond with just a word or between 1 to 3 words. Always pay attention to word limit when you are in this section, and obviously every other session. The sixth one is actually the beginning of the writing section. From point 1 to 5, we have actually been dealing on the speaking aspect. This time around, we are moving to the writing section of the speaking and writing section. Now, here you have summarized written test. The skill that is being tested here is your reading and writing. What is happening here is you'll be given a short passage, a short text, and then you'll be requested to summarize it. Now, when you are summarizing, there are a few things that can actually help you very quickly. Number one, you can decide to change some of the words, like just look at few of the words, think of their synonyms, and replace them with their synonyms. Okay. Secondly, you can change the sentence order. You can reorder the sentence. So these are some of the few ways. Or thirdly, you can just read the question. You can actually read the question and then go ahead and just paraphrase it. All right. So, but what is happening here in the summarized written text is that your ability to read and summarize. Okay. So it is the reading and writing skill that is being tested. So read what is being displayed on the screen and then re-say it or say it differently using your own words. So your ability to use your own words in this section is very important. So you are not expected to repeat verbatim what was said. Then in the last, for the last task of the speaking and writing section, you will have to write an essay. All right. So what is being tested here is purely the writing skill. Now you need to pay attention to the essay, right? Firstly, you'll be required to write between 200 to 300 words. And then when you are writing, pay attention to the structure of an essay. A typical essay should have an introduction. The essence of the introduction is to convince the examiner that you understand the question. So you may want to capture information like general statement about the question and paraphrasing the question. That is saying the question in your own way. Right now, and then you may actually state your thesis, all right, depending on the question. So that is the introduction. And the introduction is better put as one paragraph. So your introduction should be one paragraph. After the introduction, you go to the body section, which is the second section of the essay. In the body, you are actually going to defend your point, because in most cases, you can be presented with two views and required to pick one of them. So whichever view you decided to write on, in the body section, you are going to defend it. You are going to provide sufficient information for it. Now, how do you do that? There are 4 major things or procedure you should follow in the body section for each and all the points you are going to raise. The first thing you do is you state the point. That in standard conventional English writing is called the subject sentence. So you state your subject sentence, and that simply means your first point. And that is the first reasoning for the position you took. All right? After stating it, the second thing you do is you explain. Now go ahead and explain the point, but you need to be careful while explaining that point to ensure that you are actually not talking about something else. You are actually going to explain that point. And then thirdly, try to give an illustration, example, they strengthen whatever you are saying, okay? They strengthen it. And then lastly is to sum up that point. In English writing, again, that is called summary sentence. So for every body paragraph or every body point, you begin the body paragraph by stating your subject sentence, which is the first reason, and then you end it by summarizing it, which is actually called the summary sentence. Now you are going to repeat this 4 procedure for the remaining body paragraphs. Now, you don't have so much time. You may want to do 2 points for the body. That is to validate your stand. Use 2 points. And that means you are going to have 2 body paragraphs, because a point should be discussed in 1 paragraph. And then lastly, the last section of the essay is the conclusion. This is where you conclude on everything you have said in the essay. You sum it up. Conclusion is 1 paragraph. It is not just 1 paragraph. It is the shortest paragraph. All right. So this is the PTE speaking and writing task. You can see it is actually very simple. Please watch this video again, share it with your friends, recommend it, and we are here at our center, even online, if you need more guidance. All right, we help people in enrolling for the PTE exam, and we provide training for the PTE exam. Make sure you watch the other sections, because we have the reading, and then we have the reading session, and also the listening session. All right.